Hey, I'm Jusko from ProudMoney.com, and in this video I am going to show you how closing my $30,000 credit card impacted my credit score. But first I'm going to ask you to please subscribe to this YouTube channel if you have not already, and if you have already, I thank you for doing so. So back in early February, I made a video talking about how I was closing my Capital One Saver Rewards card that had a $30,000 credit line. I didn't want to pay the annual fee anymore. They were not going to waive that annual fee for me, and so I knew I wasn't really going to use the card going forward. I didn't want to go down to the no annual fee card or the no annual fee version of the card because I still would have that huge credit line, and I kind of wanted to get rid of that credit line if I wasn't going to use the card, because I felt like if I wanted other cards in the future, maybe having that huge credit line on top of the other credit that I have out there was going to possibly hurt me a little bit. Anyway, I closed that card down and I sort of made the case for why I thought that was okay to do and that it wasn't going to hurt my credit score in any significant way because I have a long credit history. I have a lot of other available credit. I have a high credit score, and as far as I was concerned, no reason to worry about the impact to my credit score. And so I thought I would follow up on that and see if I was correct. So it has been about 3 months since I closed that Capital One Saver card, and I went in today to the My FICO site to see what has happened. Now you can see here that this is the Capital One account that we are talking about. It shows that it was closed, and it shows that the last month that there was any reporting to the credit bureaus for it was in February, and a couple of bureaus it was actually in January. Now just a quick note here, this is the My FICO site that is a paid membership site. FICO gave me a free year, essentially, I think, hoping that I would show it on a video such as this. I don't know, and I've said this in other videos, that I would pay for this if I wasn't getting it free. It is pretty cool and it is pretty nice, but it actually can be a little pricey too. So maybe if I were going after a mortgage, I would pay for this in order to, kind of track my credit scores as I was going for that, because it's such a major purchase, but I don't know if I would pay for this on an ongoing basis. Anyway, that card has been closed, and here are my current scores. Still pretty good. You can see that across the board, I'm still well over 800 in or with all three of the major credit bureaus, Experian, Equifax, and TransUnion. Now, even beyond seeing what the scores are today, you can see a little trend line here. It's a little difficult maybe to see what's what here, but essentially all three of the lines that you see represent one of the major credit reporting bureaus. You can see that there was a little dip, and then I am essentially right back to where I was 3 months ago. And honestly, if I look at that, I would tell you that I think that dip is more due to the fact that I paid for a large travel purchase with a card and then paid it off, and that's really where the dip and the increase again happened. So as far as I'm concerned, closing that card really didn't do anything. That dip is from the purchase more than from the closing of the card, but no matter how you slice it, I'm right back where I was 3 months ago. So really no impact on my credit score at all. Now I will reiterate here what I said back when I made that earlier video. When I said I wasn't worried about closing the card, it was because I have a long credit history, high credit score, lots of available credit. So for me, closing a card like that, even with a $30,000 credit line, I knew it wasn't going to be a big deal. And the conventional wisdom is that you should never close a credit card because that is going to cause negative things to happen to your credit score, but it's not always true. Now, before you think I'm giving reckless credit scoring advice here, for most people, the conventional wisdom, the conventional advice about closing credit cards would be applicable here. If you had a shorter credit history, if you had less available credit, suddenly getting rid of a card that had been open 2 years and had a $30,000 credit line would hurt your credit score. Now, I would make the case that Capital One probably would not give you a $30,000 credit line unless you had a longer credit history and probably a higher credit score to begin with. But anyway, it makes a lot of sense for most people, if you don't have as long of a credit history, to try to keep your cards open. Now, in this case, case, this was a card with a $95 annual fee, but I probably could have gotten Capital One to bump this down to the Capital One Saver One card that doesn't have an annual fee and just has fewer rewards. And then I could have kept that account open and probably kept that credit line. Maybe they would have reduced the credit line, but probably they wouldn't have even done that. So for most people, it would make sense to keep a card like this open or bump it down to that no annual fee version if they didn't want to pay the annual fee. But for me, it made sense. So I didn't make this video to brag about my high credit score. I only made this video to brag about the fact that I was right about closing that card and that it didn't have any impact on my credit score. But the conventional advice about closing a credit card or keeping a credit card open even if you're not using it is going to be right for most people, especially in the first, 5 years of your credit history, the first 5 years from when you've gotten your first credit card. But as you expand those credit lines and you have more credit history, a higher credit score, closing cards is not going to matter nearly as much. So that's it. Questions, comments, put them in that comment section below. Otherwise, I thank you for watching. And as always, please go to proudmoney.com where we do credit card reviews, we talk personal finance, we talk deals, and all sorts of other fun stuff too. Thank you for watching. Bye.